Windsor, England, summer 2009. You see a man who doesn't belong here, standing on the perfectly kept grounds of Ham Polo Club. He wears custom polo whites that cost more than most people earn in a month. His name is Mohammed Asf Hafi, and he has just been made ambassador of one of Britain's most exclusive sporting clubs. This title is powerful. It opens doors that money alone cannot. Customs officials, bankers, and police all see him as a respected businessman, a bridge between East and West. They think he is a legitimate international entrepreneur and a polo lover. They are completely wrong. Meet the Sultan, a title spoken quietly in shipping yards from Karachi to Mombasa. For 30 years, he has been building what seems like a business empire, but works like a precise weapon. And now, he is about to teach some of the world's smartest intelligence agencies a lesson. Lahore, Pakistan, 1985. Before becoming the Sultan, Mohammed Asf Hafi was just a 17-year-old boy watching cargo ships unload at Karachi port. His father ran a small import-export business, barely surviving from month to month. Young Hafi noticed something important. The world runs on paperwork. Get the documents right, and customs officers let you pass without checking a single container. Get them wrong, and the shipment disappears into bureaucracy. Most people found paperwork boring. Hafi saw magic in it. By 19, he ran his father's business. By 21, he expanded into military boots, uniforms, and communication gear. Nothing illegal, nothing suspicious. He called it Sarwani International and registered it officially in Pakistan. The genius wasn't what he sold, but how he presented himself. Hafi studied British culture closely. He learned about polo not just as a sport, but as a way to access elite circles. Polo isn't really about horses, it's about connections. The right club membership can open doors even billions of dollars cannot. 1993, his first trip to England. Not to hide, but to blend in. He avoided Pakistani neighborhoods, rented a flat in Richmond, joined a gym in Kensington, and took lessons to soften his accent. Most importantly, he started attending polo matches at Ham. The Ham Polo Club isn't just exclusive, it's almost invisible to outsiders. Members include aristocrats, business leaders, and sometimes royalty. You cannot buy your way in. You need sponsors and credibility. Hafi spent 2 years gaining credibility. He didn't rush. He showed up, learned the game, made himself useful, sponsored young players, and hosted charity events. By 1995, he wasn't just a member. He was the club ambassador. Think about that. A kid from Lahore now represents one of Britain's most elite institutions. He has business cards with the club crest and access to circles where family names mean more than money. He planned to use this status to create something no one had ever seen. London, 1997. Most people struggle to maintain one fake identity. Hafi managed 3 real ones at the same time, each supporting the others. Identity 1. Military contractor. Sarwani International supplies equipment to private security firms in risky regions. Everything legal. All paperwork correct. Identity 2. Restaurateur. He opens La Bella Vista in Lahore, a high-end restaurant for the city's elite. It loses money, but that's fine. It helps move cash across borders, disguised as supply expenses. Identity 3. Polo patron. He pays fees, sponsors tournaments, imports horses, and integrates into the polo world in Pakistan and England. Each identity backs the others. Military sales explain his contacts. Restaurant money explains cash flows. Polo gives him credibility. Authorities see a genuine expert, not a criminal. By 2001, Hafi's network spans 4 continents, with offices in London, Karachi, Dubai, and Nairobi. He has contacts with shippers, brokers, and forwarders. The key is legitimacy. When Hafi's containers reach port, inspectors see a respected supplier and polo ambassador. They wave him through, unaware of the criminal operation underneath. Scotland Yard, London, Spring 2003. Detective Inspector Sarah Chen opens an envelope that changes everything. Inside is detailed information about a Pakistani smuggling network at Heathrow. Names, dates, photos. The sender? Mohammed Asif Hafi, a concerned citizen. Most criminals would make a mistake here, but Hafi isn't most criminals. He thinks 3 moves ahead. The information is accurate. Scotland Yard raids the operation and recovers £2 million worth of contraband electronics. Authorities send Hafi a thank you letter, praising his cooperation. What they don't know: the smuggling network belongs to Hafi's competitors. He just used law enforcement to eliminate his rivals for free. Over the next 5 years, Hafi sends similar letters to authorities in the UK, UAE, and Pakistan. Each time, the information is real. Authorities respond gratefully. By 2008, Hafi has letters of commendation from 3 countries' law enforcement agencies. He frames them alongside his Ham Polo Club credentials. This isn't just misdirection. It's a level of credential building that would impress any spy agency. But Hafi's boldest move is still to come, turning his informant status into a weapon. Kenya, 2009. Hafi never touches the product himself. Instead, he builds a network where each specialist knows only their part. Suppliers in Afghanistan make raw materials. Pakistani middlemen process it. Shipping specialists in Karachi hide it in legitimate cargo. From Karachi, it goes to East African ports like Mombasa or Dar es Salaam. In Africa, the Akasha brothers handle distribution. They are young, ambitious, and connected across the continent. Most importantly, they are not Pakistani, adding an extra layer of separation. Hafi is the architect, not the worker. He coordinates via encrypted messages and secret meetings. By 2010, Hafi's operation was generating £300 million a year. That's not revenue, it's profit. Hafi is now wealthier than most of the aristocrats he plays polo with. But wealth brings challenges. How do you enjoy £300 million without drawing attention? Hafi's solution: invest in legitimate businesses. He buys property in London and Dubai, expands his restaurant empire, and purchases a breeding stable for polo horses. Every investment is properly documented, taxes paid, lawyers consulted. To outsiders, Mohammed Asif Hafi is just a successful businessman with diverse interests and refined taste. Then, in 2012, something changes. A new player enters the picture, someone Hafi doesn't fully control. Vicky Goswami. He looks like a quiet accountant. Wireframe glasses, neat haircut, calm demeanor. You wouldn't notice him in a crowd. That's exactly why he's valuable. Goswami is Indian, which makes it easier for him to move between Pakistan and India. He's also a logistics expert, capable of coordinating multi-country shipments without leaving a digital trail. Hafi recruits him in 2012 to manage East African operations. It's a big mistake. Goswami is competent, perhaps too competent. He begins suggesting improvements: better routes, new suppliers, tighter security. Hafi listens because the suggestions are smart, but he's also wary. In this business, the smarter someone is, the more dangerous they can become. By 2013, Goswami essentially runs the entire African network. The Akasha brothers report to him. Shipping companies coordinate through him, and he becomes indispensable. That's when Hafi should have stepped back. When an employee knows as much as you, they are no longer just an employee. They become a partner you never agreed to have. But the money is too good, the operation too smooth. Hafi convinces himself he can manage the risk. He's wrong. Mombasa, Kenya, April 15th, 2014. Two Colombian businessmen arrive at a warehouse near the port. They claim to want a supply route to South America with cash and connections. But the Colombians are DEA agents. This is Operation Monsoon. Months of undercover work targeting East African trafficking networks. The DEA has monitored the Akasha brothers for 2 years. They know about links to larger networks in Pakistan and Afghanistan.
The meeting goes perfectly. Too perfectly. Goswami brings 2 kilograms of methamphetamine in vacuum-sealed packages, explains pricing, supply chain, and delivery guarantees. Undercover agents record everything: video, audio, and chemical analysis. Goswami thinks he's closing a deal worth millions. In reality, he's confessing to federal crimes on camera. The DEA doesn't act immediately. They schedule follow-up meetings, collecting more evidence each time, asking questions to expose the network structure. Who supplies you? Who handles shipping? Who makes the final decisions? Goswami answers carefully. He never names Hafi directly, but provides enough clues for experienced investigators. During the 4th meeting, Goswami makes a fatal mistake. He mentions that the senior partner is a respected businessman, spends time in London, and has polo club connections. That's all the DEA needs. They start cross-referencing Pakistani businessmen with London addresses, polo memberships, and transport links in East Africa. The list narrows quickly. DEA Headquarters, Virginia, June 2014. Analyst Marcus Webb reviews surveillance photos and notices something unusual. A shipping container at Mombasa Port has Sawani International stenciled on the side. Webb runs the name through databases and immediately sees red flags. Sawani International is owned by Muhammad Asaf Hafi, with addresses in London and Karachi. Within 24 hours, Webb discovers something remarkable. Hafi has letters of commendation from British law enforcement and is an ambassador to Ham Polo Club. He has decades of documented business activity. Webb's supervisor laughs. This guy has probably been helping authorities for years. He's not our target. But Webb is suspicious. Why would a law-abiding businessman need to work through East African middlemen? Why not just expand his legitimate military supply business? Webb digs deeper. Hafi's Lahore restaurant loses money annually but never closes. His polo horse company has expenses that don't match revenue. His shipping company moves containers to ports with no documented customers. Individually, these details seem innocent. Together, they reveal a pattern. Webb writes a memo suggesting Hafi might not be an informant. He might be a criminal using authorities to eliminate competition. The memo sits for 3 weeks. By the time someone reads it, the case is already gaining momentum. London, October 19th, 2014. Hafi is having breakfast at the Wolseley when his lawyer calls. Don't go home. Don't go to your office. The Metropolitan Police have a warrant. For 4.3 seconds, Hafi considers running. Dubai is 6 hours away. He has money and contacts. He could vanish to Pakistan or Afghanistan, where extradition is impossible. But fleeing would confirm guilt. Hafi has spent 30 years building legitimacy. He isn't throwing it away. Instead, he finishes breakfast, calls back, and tells his lawyer he will surrender voluntarily. 3 hours later, he enters Scotland Yard with 2 top London attorneys, wearing a Savile Row suit and carrying a briefcase of documents. He looks like a businessman attending a meeting, not someone under arrest. The detective expects denial. He gets calm cooperation. Harvey answers questions, grants record access, and explains operations. "Am I charged with something specific?" Harvey asks politely. The detective hesitates. "A warrant from American intelligence, cards forming, financial irregularities linked to Mombasa." Harvey nods. "I understand. I've always cooperated and want to resolve misunderstandings." Custody follows, but not in a regular cell. Lawyers file motions. No flight risk, voluntary surrender, UK roots, and years of cooperation with law enforcement documented. The judge grants special accommodations at Belmar Marsh Prison pending trial. Harvey spends the next 8 years fighting US extradition. A twist. Even from prison, he almost wins. Courtroom 4, Royal Courts of Justice, 2015 to 2023. Most extradition cases resolve in months. Harvey takes 8 years, not because evidence is weak, but because his legal team is brilliant. Their argument is simple and powerful. Mohammed Asif Harvey is being persecuted for helping authorities. Americans target him for exposing competitors tied to DEA informants. This isn't justice, it's revenge. They present decades of documentation, letters of commendation, thank you notes, certificates from Pakistani police. These show he helped governments fight trafficking. Prosecutors counter with Mombasa evidence, Goswami recordings, financial records, and shipping manifests. Harvey's team reframes every claim: polo horse payments, African clerical errors, and terminated business ties. It's not denial, it's masterful reframing. A British judge rules extradition proceeds, but only for specific charges. Blanket accusations are too vague. The DEA flips Goswami for testimony and offers reduced sentences to the Akasha brothers, building a strong case. Harvey watches his empire crumble while maintaining dignity. By 2023, his legal options are exhausted. A British court orders extradition to face US federal charges. Harvey boards a New York-bound flight first class, handcuffs hidden under his jacket, 2 marshals accompanying him. Even in defeat, appearances matter. Federal Court, Southern District of New York, January 2025. The prosecution takes 3 weeks to present its case. They have recordings, financial records, and testimony from cooperating witnesses. Evidence links Harvey to operations spanning 4 continents over 3 decades. The defense doesn't deny much. Instead, they focus on one argument. Mohammed Asif Harvey is a businessman who made mistakes by trusting the wrong people. He was not running a criminal network. He was being exploited by criminals who used his legitimate businesses as cover. It is a desperate strategy, but it's all they have. The turning point comes during Goswami's testimony. Prosecutors ask him to explain how decisions were made in the network. Goswami hesitates. Nothing happened without the Sultan's approval. The defense objects. The Sultan could refer to anyone. Goswami avoids naming Harvey directly. Then prosecutors play a recording. It's Bakhtash Akasha speaking to an undercover agent in Mombasa. "You want to expand operations? Talk to the Sultan. He's in London. He makes all the decisions." That's enough. The defense cannot recover. February 3rd, 2025. The jury returns a guilty verdict on all counts. Judge Catherine Forrest schedules sentencing for 2 weeks later. Harvey sits perfectly still. No emotion, no reaction. Even now, he refuses to give them the satisfaction of seeing him break. February 17th, 2025. Before sentencing, Harvey is allowed to address the court. His lawyers advise against it. Anything he says could worsen his situation. Still, he stands and speaks. "Your Honor, I've made mistakes. I trusted people I shouldn't have. I built businesses without properly supervising the people running them. For that, I take responsibility. It is neither a full apology nor a confession. It is carefully measured to accept blame without admitting criminal intent." Judge Forrest is not moved. Mr. Haffey, you did not make mistakes. You built a sophisticated criminal network that operated for 3 decades. You used legitimate businesses as cover. You manipulated law enforcement by providing information about competitors. You even used your position as a polo club ambassador to establish credibility. She pauses, letting the words sink in. The harm you have caused is immense.
The sentence: 16 years in federal prison, with credit for the 8 years already served in Belmar Marsh. Haffey will be eligible for release in 2033 at the age of 75. As marshals lead him out of the courtroom, Haffey pauses and looks back at the gallery. His family is there, wife, children, grandchildren, crying for the first time in the entire process. His composure cracks just for a moment, showing that underneath the Sultan persona, he is still human. Then he straightens his shoulders and walks out,